Hello, me lovelies. It's me, Ned Natter, with the unpasteurised and unfiltered Ned Natter Radio Show, ready to brighten your day. First up, it's great to be with you again. Thanks so much for your lovely comments and messages. It's time for a good old natter. But remember, I don't chat about the regular news and current affairs. I'm here to give you a break from it all, a good laugh, even when it's only once a week on a Wednesday. Remember, you can listen to all my shows again. Yep, they're all saved for you as podcasts at nednatter.com. Yep, okay, well, put everything down. No, everything. I mean you too. Come on, it's time for the Ned Natter Show. And you can't miss this. Here at 2 Medicine Farm, life goes on. Elsie's larger-than-life friend Beyondit, who she knows from her regular visits to the old local nail bar, has just gone through an acrimonious divorce. And Elsie offered to let her stay at the farm for a few days. Yeah, a few days. Well, you've heard the cliche, you know, those famous last words. Yeah. Anyway, she outweighs the wife, and she's even happy to say she weighs 50 pounds more than her. Oh dear. I guess, you know what, a couple of days is now heading towards 2 weeks. And that temporary stay, you know, remember the few days? It's looking closer to a bleeding rent-free tenancy. Your poor old sofa is still in trouble. Her and Elsie share it by day, and Beyondit sleeps on it by night. Add to that, they both snore. Yep, the house is beginning to sound like an engine room on a ship, forcing its way against the racing tide. So I'm thinking of expanding my little studio here to include living accommodation. Yep. For me, that is. Yep, sound insulation has never looked so good. Beyondit, Brandisha, Washington, or to her friends BBW, is not too sure about Elsie's weird cooking. Hardly surprising, so Beyondit eats loads of snacks between meals. Yep, a combination of cookies, chips, ice cream, peanuts, chocolate, cereal, and jars of peanut butter, which she either eats with a spoon or uses a dip for her other snacks. But she's always sending out for food, you know. Her nails are too long and twisted, so it makes it impossible to do much. So she just barks instructions at her phone, and it does it all for her. Pizza, subs, chicken, seafood, burger deliveries, the whole lot, you know. Elsie tries the same stunt with me, but, you know, I don't hear too well these days. Well, not her barking anyway. I leave that to me dog Clay. Yep. Either way, our new house guest Beyondit is highly opinionated about most things. For starters, she told us that she once planned her own clothing line. BBWNY. I laughed. After all, Elsie Natter's clothing has been the Beyondit clothing line for 20 years already. Yep, beyond help, that is. Added to that, BBW plans to snap me blind neighbour old Lonnie into 2 pieces. That's what she says. Yep, I suppose he's easier to share with Elsie that way, but, well, actually, it's because he tried accidentally hitting her with his white stick, you know, his standard pickup method. Of course, Lonnie doesn't realise he'd need a forklift to pick her up. Anyway, she's not putting up with Lonnie's brash attempts at all. No, I suppose it didn't help that his housemate, old Fred, told him he couldn't miss. Add to that, she's also decided me C-store restaurant owning rapper Pashana Kondabindi, or Cardamom P to his fans, yep. They're at least 71 now, I heard, yep, fans that is, on his curry rapper Facebook page anyway. But Beyondit says he needs help with his rap, and she knows everything there is to know about rap. Oh dear, she's an expert in everything, which only needs the use of her opinion or her mouth. Anything physical, it's completely out of the question. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show. When I'm not here, you can find me and my shows at nednatter.com. This week, when Beyondit returned to her end of the sofa after a lengthy bathroom trip, she sat on and flattened Ned. No, the wife's rat dog, that is. You know, there's not enough room for me on there. She thought he was a little puffy cushion, see? Yep, he's definitely overstuffed these days, and so obese he normally just sits on the floor eating Elsie scraps of food that fall from her plate. Occasionally though, she likes to pick him off the floor, sitting on the sofa with her, like she cares, and they share doggy treats, chocolate and other candy together. The only trouble is she sometimes forgets he can't get down again, on his own that is, and he falls asleep, poor old mucker. This time he wasn't fast enough to dodge Beyondit's rapidly descending ass. The worst part is the dog's still got that special shock bracelet around its neck. The one supplied with the Alex, If you recall, Elsie bought the virtual assistant device from Ding Dang's dubious con-man relative Billy Ray. And yes, it is called an Alex, It arrived with these shock alarm bracelets, as it doesn't have many true wireless capabilities. Well, let's put it this way. There's AI, artificial intelligence, isn't there? And this thing, it just has the artificial part. So Elsie decided to con Nan into wearing one of these bracelets, but she quietly put the thing around Elsie's rat dog's neck instead. Every time she wants the lights on or off, or the AC reset, the dog whimpers. Oh dear. Anyway, Beyondit caused a short in the wife's electronic assistant. And now we're waiting to see what it's gone online and ordered. Because the moment Beyondit flattened the bracelet with the dog, it retaliated by sinking its little sharp teeth into her ample rear. She went on and spouted an entire paragraph of abuse. We're not even sure if Amazon or anyone else even stocks Mother, Jesus, Christ, Mary, Joseph, bitch, or all the numerous expletives in between. Either way, I just hope Elsie's using her credit card, not mine, and there's some way of cancelling most of the order. Anyway, until then, we're waiting for either a miracle or a fraud alert from the bank. Away from that obese dog, Elsie's pet pig and me namesake Ned Jr. is already on a strict diet, and safely away of harm, I moved him in with old Bill, me lucky pig, a triple lightning strike survivor, who lives in a specially built luxury outdoor pen and run. Ned Jr. has actually lost a lot of weight, probably worrying about if another lightning strike is imminent. After all, it's thunderstorm season here in the southeast. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show. I'm here every Wednesday. You can find all my shows again at nednatter.com, where they're all stored for you as podcasts. So if you want to hear the repeats and can handle listening to me voice all over again, stop by and say hi. Old Nan and her great drinking, knitting, gambling companion, our other temporary permanent visitor, Toshiko Suzuki, my brother Nelson's wife, Heiner's 102-year-old grandmother, is still keeping the old hag company. And I don't think she plans on heading back to California anytime soon. In fact, her and Nan are planning 3 days at Nan's favourite casino this weekend. We'll see. With luck, it'll be 3 weeks, once they get their feet under a conveniently loose poker table. Despite her trouble in getting around fast these days, old Nan wants to give Grandma Toshiko another so-called local cultural experience. Last time I took the old birds to the store and they turned it into a boardwalk attraction. This week, old Nan convinced me to drive her and Toshiko to the local gun range. Nan had found it online and was almost desperate to go. She reckoned it was because she needed to brush up on her shooting skills. But in fact, when I checked, I noticed she'd been reading an article, an NRA for women, well, you've seen them, about the guys who you would like to meet on the range. They call them the alpha dog, the MacGyver, the recruiter, and the suitor. It's that simple, so Nan's decided it must be a great place to meet men, particularly the suitor, I suppose. I think they should change his name to, desperate gunslinging hag chaser. More appropriate, oh dear. I didn't read the whole article, but I wondered if it was a dead or alive type deal. I'm sure she didn't care either way. Anyway, I reluctantly agreed and whisked the aged grandma, Toshiko and Nan over there. Yep, they got together with a selection of weapons, 4 each. Once the shooting began, and even women in general are usually over-scrutinised by the owner of a gun range, It's outdoors and the old birds took pot shots at everything, He don't even let foreigners in there or old people or anybody, it's all insurance reasons, he says. Anyway, they took pot shots at everything. They even hit a few of his targets. Yeah, but that was quite by accident, of course. A few surrounding specimen trees paid the ultimate price. And Nan has had to shell out some of her gambling winnings to buy Bubba, the owner that is, a brand new golf cart. Yeah, an easy target. They should have never let Toshiko near anything with high power and rapid rounds. So, in fact, his little target changing and clean up cart is not half the thing it used to be. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show, and when I'm not here you can find me and my shows at nednatter.com. Elsie and Beyondit had their own plans this week. A new all-you-can-eat buffet opened up a few miles away. Well, it opened at midday and closed early the following afternoon. Yeah, Elsie and Beyondit have already put it close to bankruptcy. A couple of blocks over is this new spa. Oh dear, they asked if I'd drive them there, but I refused. See, I've always taken the wife to the car wash and she never complained before. I think Beyondit is giving Elsie too many expensive ideas. I mean, take the massage, it's $100 for 30 minutes. But that's with one masseuse, trouble is, if they'd never get round Elsie in half an hour, would they? If they did, it'd take 4 people at the massage table. Yep. And I'm not finding $400. Then they've got all these so-called detox treatments. Well, with Elsie's diet, they're going to need a nuclear fallout attack team. Not 2 bottles of Evian and a few grapes. As you recall, me fireman Ding Dang finally got married to Darlene Freebird. Well, the honeymoon is over and Ding Dang is dodging the house altogether. I think less than 2 weeks of marital bliss is not for him. He reckons she nags him and has weird pregnancy cravings. So he's hanging around the farm longer than usual with his best bud. Yep, bud. In one hand. And on the other hand, we've still got me farmhands quote of the week. So here's Ding Dang's southern quote. It's this time, he's as windy as a sack of farts. Oh dear. This, according to him, relates directly to old Rush, who ambushed Ding Dang to lecture him on the importance of the GOP and voting in the midterms. Yeah, the only candidate Ding Dang would vote for was the one offering free beer. To date, not even Rush's hopefuls have come up with that desperate idea. But you never know, they've already conjured up a few potential voters in far worse ways. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show. I'm here every Wednesday. You can always find my shows again at nednatter.com. They're all stored as podcasts. So if you want repeats and can handle listening to my old voice all over again, stop by and come and see us. As you'll probably recall, Quinton, my camper tenant writer, stopped painting nudes and started writing poetry. He's finally returned to oil on canvas last week for a painting called Strawberries and Coagulate. That's his peaceful partner who seems to have given him some inspiration while they're working together on the strawberry plantation. We got lots of lovely berries showing up, and of course Coagulate loves to sing to the fruit every night. The painting's still not finished though. Quinton has no problem with nudes. He's just never painted a 2-foot high strawberry before. Well, next up, I'm returning to the wife's favourite subject. Food, of course. Yep, Elsie's private recipes and ideas for cooking. Revolting offerings from the swamp oh dear, I cook my own food and leave her to a cosy relationship with that old microwave. Elsie's teaming up again with old Lonnie. Yeah, well, they love to eat, don't they? Well, Lonnie's convinced the wife that she's been missing out on his local delicacies, and he's always got an endless supply of raw material. So this time around, with the help of the Roadkill Recipes Cookbook, that's right, the one I reviewed on my show a while back, they're cooperating again. Oh dear. But just a quick note, this is going to be the last time I feature Lonnie's horrors. 3 reasons mainly. 1, they're disgusting. Everyone's agreed with me on that one. 2, I have to buy Elsie a new microwave every week. And 3, Beyondit doesn't like the idea of Lonnie in the house, let alone in the kitchen. So next week, Elsie's promised sweet treats on her feature. Yep, that's lots of sugar and perhaps a bit more sugar. Well, we'll have to see just how repulsive they are before passing judgment. Here's the next of her so-called recipes. Yep, Elsie's cooking cock-ups. So, warm up your microwave and stand well clear in the cooking process. Yep, usually I stay in the barn behind a concrete wall. The recommended distance is at least 50 feet away. Further the better. This time, our recipe is called Elsie's You're Not Just Playing Dead With Me, Possum Surprise. Yeah, they're getting worse each week, aren't they? Oh dear, with Lonnie supplying the main ingredients, look out. So let's see. Elsie hasn't written it down, just bookmarked the page again in the book and handwritten a list of nasty little ingredients in pencil underneath. So here goes. Hold your dinner, your nose and your breath. Take 1 oversized possum and make sure it's not just playing dead. Yep, Lonnie reckons the only way to be sure is to hit it with a shovel at least 8 times. Wait 30 minutes, and if it doesn't blink, an eye, prepare it for the microwave. Poor thing. Ah, dear. Anyway, Elsie started out with a big plastic doll bowl and the possum. Yeah. Then, although the recipe suggested coating it with rich gravy, Elsie talked old Lonnie out of that one, didn't she? And suggested tipping 6 cans of spicy baked beans over it instead. And of course, her usual array of evil-looking condiments: a big load of Miracle Whip, a jar of Australian Vegemite, a jar of salsa sauce, sweet soy glaze. Oh, it's a new one, isn't it? Oh dear, what's this? I can't read her writing. No, 4 cheese Alfredo sauce. Then salt, pepper and vinegar for flavouring. Fortunately for the old possum, though, it was definitely dead, yeah, after getting hit by a cop car speeding along a dark road at 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, you cook it, or should I say they cooked it, for 30 minutes in the microwave and then shoveled it out steaming and bubbling. After a few minutes it was ready to eat, apparently, and that's the only time you don't hear a word out of Lonnie or the wife. On the other hand, our new guest Beyondit just held her nose, rolled her eyes and kept a hand in a party-sized bag of potato chips. In fact, I looked up the old Guinness Book of Records on that, and it says the largest bag ever produced was 2,515 pounds. Yep, that's a lot of chips, isn't it? I wonder how long it'd take Beyondit to get through a bag that size. By the way, as I've mentioned before, the Ned Natter Show will not be held responsible for the results. No, Elsie's cooking is undertaken at your own risk. It not only needs a strong stomach, it needs an even stronger oven. And if possible, a standalone concrete bomb-proof building. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show. I'm here every Wednesday, but you can find all my shows again at nednatter.com, where they're all stored as podcasts. So if you want me repeats and to listen to me voice all over again, stop by and say hi. After mentioning old Lonnie and his final culinary cooperation with Elsie, I should mention some drama about his housemate The nudist old Fred, yeah. This week he told me he's getting no hits at all, on that old swinger and dating website. And it all started with that awful header. Yeah, if you recall, that's the only bit he wrote himself, I live life in the nude. It's not the size, it's what you do with it. Oh well, we had to edit that up front. I told Fred he needs a bit more salesmanship. In other words, in the case of his profile, the truth hurts badly. We need to package him a bit better. I didn't want to hurt his feelings and tell him to blatantly lie, just skim round the absolute truth. In this case, there's nothing worse than the truth, I can tell you. So we hammered out something new. We changed the header to naked sugar. Yep, sweet and to the point, even eye-catching, which to be honest, Fred is definitely not. And we wrote the information underneath. Experienced southern gentleman, well equipped and ready with only one suit. Yes, me birthday suit. If you're looking for a sugar daddy and a private beach, skinny dip with me any day of the week. Or come relax in my private woodland home in peaceful North Florida. I'm disease and drug free, and believe me, into safe sex too. Yep, safety first. I always bring my own mosquito repellent to every date. After all, nobody likes to get stung on the job. So, what have you got to lose? Hit me up today. Oh dear. On the family front, when she's not complaining about, well, just pick a subject and she complains. Oh, me 95-year-old mother, old Nan. Yep, the miserable old crow in person has got her little feature on my show. Old Nan remembers. Oh dear, well, this time for a little bout of what's professionally termed reminiscence therapy. It's about ketchup and how it only used to come in little glass bottles, not nasty, noisy plastic ones. See, Nan's always complaining about Elsie farting. She is renowned for her gas, but in reality, the same noise is frequently heard, just continually fighting with that plastic squeezy ketchup bottle in it. Sometimes it's even the mustard too. See, the wife loves a little food with her ketchup. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show. When I'm not here, you can find me and my shows at nednatter.com. Well then, that lovely twangy old music means it's time once again for me book reviews. Yeah, I get my hands on a few and I feature them right here. Just remember, I've got a great system. If a book's shite, it goes on my compost heap. Sometimes, if it's really bad, I have to burn it. The middle of the road books go in my giveaway charity box, and the good or reasonable ones usually stay on my farm library shelf. I hope that's all nice and clear for you. Okay, well, because my farm track is still too muddy for the struggling old mail van, I've only ended up with one this time, and it's called Gun Lovers Etiquette by I Got Shot Jr. Well, I thought it was topical this week, what with the gun range thing. Oh dear, well, this is a fascinating book. Yeah, I've got to say it, kind of a narrow-minded subject, but it's packed with interesting advice. And the kind of things you might not have even thought of, Take chapter 2, it's fascinating. Meeting New People, it's called. The chapter discusses whether or not you carry a weapon on your first date. Open carry, concealed carry, or just carry an additional weapon in your boot and leave your other weapons in your truck. Either way, the book recommends you wear your proud NRA member badge to the meeting. Chapter 6 deals with dating a gun nut. The author says he may be a bit blunt, but they do exist. Anyway, you've heard of lipstick on the collar. Well, this deals with weapons under the pillow, extra ammo in the nightstand, and arming for one-night stands. Then, kind of on a similar subject, there's a complicated chapter. That's number 9, that is, yep. It handles shotgun weddings. Oh, you'll never hear the word jilted here. Nope, there's even a voice in the last chapter titled just shoot and say goodbye. Oh dear. Well, it's definitely to the point, I'll say that. I'm sticking this one in my cherry box, actually, because, old Nan, if she gets hold of it, she'll be starting to get some new dating ideas. Well, my lovelies, that's all on the book review feature this time around. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show. I'm here every Wednesday, but you can still find all my radio shows again at nednatter.com. I've got a listener favourite coming up now. Yeah, me anomalies from around the world. Well, I'm still avoiding disgusting food this time, what with Elsie and Lonnie still around. Yeah, so I decided to head off to Old England for this week's Anomaly. Yeah, it's called gurning. It's a competition that's been around since 1267 in Cumbria. That's up in the north of England, yep. People have been doing really stupid things for that long, would you believe? Of course, back in the 13th century, they didn't have YouTube or any social media or running water, comes to think of it. Anyway, but they could do it once a year in front of a local audience. Anyway, it's about who can make the most grotesque face possible. Some of the most successful and repeat winners of the competition actually had all their teeth removed to guarantee ugliness and the best kind of facial contortion, well, or distortion if you like. Of course, around here, a few folks don't even have to try to look hideous. Yep, teeth or no teeth, they'd win the gurning competition without even trying. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show. I'm here every Wednesday, but you can find all my shows again at nednatter.com. Staying with Old England, I got a call from Nigel Ponce, yeah, the arrogant old catfish-faced gentleman farmer. My brother Young Buck skipped Pennsylvania and now manages the arrogant Nigel's farm on his rambling estate. Well, after living in Pennsylvania for 15 years, Buck has picked up plenty of American expressions, yeah. He seems to enjoy confusing Ponce with them, and then he has to call me for an explanation. So how could I leave the subject of old Nigel Ponce without mentioning a special feature right here on the Ned Natter Show? It's called American for Foreigners. After all, Ponce finds most regular American phrases and sayings foreign. Oh dear, well, here goes American for Foreigners with me arrogant British farmer contributor, yep, Nigel Ponce. First up, here's his voicemail message.
You have messages.
Well, hello, Ned. This is Nigel Ponce. Your brother Buck has said to me, you're living in the south and surrounded by rednecks. I thought it was some kind of American bird, but he says no. He says call you and ask you to describe a redneck. So maybe you could call me back. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Well, Nigel, that's easy. Let me translate it for you. This time, Buck has told Ponce, I'm living in the south and I'm surrounded by rednecks. Ponce wants me to describe a redneck, as he thought it was some kind of American bird. No, Nigel, they're actually people. And to summarise, I'll just say this. A redneck. Well, they're a sun-loving, shirtless, southern nomadic tribe. They live to hunt, shoot, fish and drink beer. Mostly they enjoy muddy pastimes and live in the woods in funny temporary houses called trailers. There you go. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show. When I'm not here, you can find me and my shows at nednatter.com. I headed over to me and constant political commentating neighbour old Rush's Stonewall Jackson farm to listen to the latest far-fetched second-hand news from the right of centre, and all in instalments as usual. Yeah, he's always rushing off at the moment's notice. With a weak bladder, Rush is always on the go. Anyway, the poor old mucker's still paying attention to his obsessive political agenda. His folks have been working on getting in every possible vote for their GOP buddies, but now me neighbour old Rush and our new neighbour Jeremy Sprung, the polyamorous political commentating Democratic ex-TV host, head-to-head in competition for new votes. You know, I was going to feature a few words from the Democratic camp across the road with Jeremy Sprung. As Rush likes to say, only a Democrat could be polyamorous. But Sprung, he headed off to Washington DC unexpectedly and I didn't get a chance. So old Rush has got a clear run this time, and after chatting to his buddies again, he's throwing around a bunch of new words I've never heard him use before. He says the current White House has gone woke. I said, what are you saying, Rush? You know, he says if he called his mother a birthing person, she'd have hit him with a switch. There you go. They're even calling illegal immigrants lost hitchhikers. Added to that, he says the Democrats have cancelled Dr. Zeus. Before I had a chance to ask him why, or what that has to do with the political standpoint, he just said, "Gotta go, Ned," and off he went at speed. Anyway, despite his rushing off, he called me later in the day with his latest Tennessee teaser. That's his homegrown style of humour. This time he'd already heard me fireman Ding Dang comparing him to a sack of farts, yeah. So he had a perfect comeback to describe Ding Dang. The porch light's on, but nobody's home. Well, he does have a very good point there. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show. I'm here every Wednesday, but you can find all my shows again at nednatter.com. They're all stored there as podcasts for you, so if you want me repeats and can handle listening to me voice all over again, stop by and say hello. Me lovely vegan neighbour young Alice Jones invited me over for our weekly vegan cake and fair trade coffee sit down. This time she told me how she'd bought 2 crystal balls. Well, I thought one would have worked unless there's some kind of hidden message in there someplace. Anyway, they're not the usual sideshow blown glass type, but genuine crystal, yeah. Very heavy, very nice, yeah. She's been working with them all week and they've got loads of energy, she reckons. Added to that, she can see all sorts of interesting things in the crystal. She even saw a peaceful image of me. Yep, standing in the middle of a field alone without a soul around. She reckons that's my true idea of bliss. Well, she could be half right there. It would make a nice change. On the other hand, I just hope the other ball shows her standing close by. Now that would be paradise. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show. When I'm not here, you can find me and my shows at nednatter.com. Well, me lovelies, it's time for this week's questions and odd news items from you, me listeners. Yeah, I got it all here on the Ned Natter Show. Right then, me first item comes from Horatio in Halifax. He called me about this news where this person who's bought an old Scottish estate and a title with it, they're now starting to sell off lordships on the cheap. Yet they come with an envelope-sized parcel of land to make it a legal lord or lady deal, you know. Sorry, it's one or the other. There's no such thing as a non-binary title. On the other hand, the landed gentry are an odd lot anyway. So you can now buy a title for the old family. I can see it now, can't you? You know, call the online lord today and get upgraded for $99. And never just be a plain Mr., Mrs. or Ms again. Oh dear. Yep, even your bleeding pets, I can imagine that, can't you? Overnight, everyone in the room is a lord or lady. Oh well. As long as they all realise a few inches of Scottish grass and a piece of paper to hang on the wall of your apartment doesn't buy you class. So yes, it's really a big oh dear all round. My second item comes from Paloma in Portugal. She's concerned about algae. Well, I have to say, aren't we all, Paloma? Oh dear, she's letting me know about all these different folks in Portugal creating high-protein foods made from algae. Yeah, I thought it was scraping the bottom of the barrel when I first read it, until it occurred to me the bottom of the barrel is where you might even find some of it. Yeah. But they're not just scraping it up. They're growing the stuff in things called photobioreactors. Yeah, looking at the gooey green mass, I wondered if they'd modelled the design on one of me Florida ditches. Oh well, the European Union's even given them a truckload of money to to develop it. Yep, that's the great thing about eye tax, isn't it? Apparently, gooey green is then made into a powder like flour, so it's easy to use. I'd hate to try and handle it any other way, wouldn't you? This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show. When I'm not here, you can find me and my shows at nednatter.com. Me dubious conman agent 50% has lined me up the new ad this week, and we got something quite different this time, aimed at homeowners, so here goes. Out of water, need a new well in a hurry for your home. Well, don't mess with the rest. Call Dingle's Divine Deep Water Inc., where others just guess we're the original divining guys. We've got a well for all seasons, but the wetter ones are always better. Because with our wells, when it rains it pours. Yeah, that's no cliche. When it rains, you'll force it pours. It's a hard and fast guarantee. So tap into us today and get divine water overnight. We've got easy finance too. So what are you waiting for? Reach out to us now at we'vegottherod.org. That sounds just like the kind of thing me long lost relative Skip Natter would come up with, doesn't it? He once tried water divining using the old wooden divining rod method himself, He found something in no time at all. Yep, the sewer. Oh dear. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Radio Show, and whichever way you dice it, me show is unpasteurised and unfiltered. But that's all, me lovelies, and on that note I better go. So until next time, remember farmers are getting older, some more than others. It's time some new blood came down on the farm and gave us an hand. Shite matters, without us you wouldn't have anything to eat. Without me, your Wednesdays won't be much fun. In the meantime, you can find me and all my radio shows at nednatter.com. Yep, they're all safe for you there as podcasts too. Add to that, there's me social media links. So come by and say hi. It'd be great to hear from you. Thanks so much for listening. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I hope you'll join me on the Ned Natter Show again. So until then, keep a smile on your face. Think positive. Don't sweat the small stuff. The grass is not always greener on the other side. It might just be a freeway. Goodbye, me lovelies.